All right, this is an episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions. This is going to be round 15, December 11th, 1995, Raw versus Nitro. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, man. Let's get into this. The storyline between the whole thing with Sting, Hogan, Luger, it's becoming redundant at this point.
A
Like
little
it's
bit.
it's now 3 months in. It's become soap opera like. It needs to come to a head at this point where either have a fatal four-way match between them all with Savage or even add Flair into this or just end the storyline because it's just every week it just keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Pretty much.
So and nothing changes this week. But let's go ahead and get into it. They were in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nitro was. Raw was in Salisbury, Maryland. We'll kick it off with Nitro first. The opening match. Matter of fact, they even started the match while
Right, there was no talking.
Mongo, Bischoff, and
No
Heenan were
talking, yeah.
talking about the whole thing with Hogan and all of them. And it was Eddie Guerrero and JL or Mr. JL.
hmm
And the match was pretty good. It was a little short for me, but I like that Mongo talked up Eddie Guerrero, saying that he's going to be a major superstar. I did like that because it is true. At this point, he's Nitro's biggest workhorse.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
and so far, he's gotten nothing for it, but that'll come. The match with JL was pretty good. He reverses his sunset flip and gets a pin on him, and Eddie Guerrero once again gets a victory on Nitro. If you want to, we switch over to Raw's opening matchup. I can say this one wasn't a jobber only because we know who he is. It was Jeff Hardy.
Mm. He's a jobber.
Is it all
At
right?
this point, he's a jobber.
Unfortunately, yes. Versus Owen Hart, and he held his own in this match. He kind of oversold Owen Hart's strength with the clothesline doing the 360 flip. I thought that was a little ridiculous. He's not Ahmed
He's
Johnson
young.
at the Yeah, he's trying. He's hoping that him and his brother will stay on. Luckily, they will. The match was pretty good. During the match, they showed Diesel in the back watching the
Mhm.
matchup. Of course, Diesel signed that open contract that Owen Hart put out, so Diesel's going to kick his ass at In Your House coming up this coming Sunday for them. Owen with a missile drop kick on Jeff Hardy. He instead of going for the sharpshooter, he just goes for a roll up pin, being cocky here, and gets the 1, 2, 3 over Jeff Hardy. Now, of course, after the match, he decided to make a statement because Yokozuna comes in and Banzai drops Jeff
Mhm.
Hardy, and then here comes Big Daddy Cool Diesel to clear the ring. Owen ran like a little that he is.
So he's still kind of like a baby face at this point. He's not.
He is. He hasn't turned.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
it hasn't started yet.
Yeah,
It's coming. I think it starts pretty much around the Rumble,
yeah. Yeah.
and because I think it's the whole thing based on with the Undertaker getting the title shot and Big Daddy Cool didn't. That's the whole thing. And so yeah, he's still babyface. He's just got that brand new attitude that he's coming, and he's still on his friend's side. He cleared the ring with Yokozuna, and the crowd went nuts. At least we finally see Diesel in the ring on Monday Night Raw because
Right.
it's something
Sort
we
of.
don't see. Yeah,
Sort of.
exactly. So if we go to flip over to Monday Nitro, excuse me, next segment, it's the weekly Mean Gene interview with Jimmy Hart. Only this
Right.
time it's with Lex Luger.
No dungeon this time.
No Kevin Sullivan,
Yeah,
no
no Kevin,
giant
because
shot.
it's usually them.
Yeah, they might as well just had their own little segment.
Mhm.
Just name it.
Just they had the night
Uh,
off, right? The dungeon had the night off.
yeah, because they weren't there. You never
Yeah,
saw them. Luger was pretty busy tonight,
yeah.
but
But Luger's in a.
they weren't there.
We've discussed this. Luger's to me and you. He's more of an associate. He's not a made guy. He's an associate.
Exactly, exactly.
Like,
He's there making. He's the earner.
yeah.
So they talked about the triangle match at Starcade, but and because besides the triangle match and the title match that's going to come, they're also it's WCW versus New Japan as well that they're doing at this year's
Right.
Starcade
Oh,
in
that's right. That's right.
'95. Now he told Ric Flair what he would do, and he told Sting that it's just business. If I got to go through you, I'm going to do it. That's just the way it is. That's the way it should be. Sting obviously knows that, so they're on the same page there. Now we can let's go to the next match on Monday Nitro because let's just get this garbage out of the way. It was Disco Inferno versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff with his new. Oh my
Wonderful.
god. Oh my god, that song was the funny thing is it's so bad, but it's like catchy in your head.
Stays in your head.
Like it stays exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible gimmick for him and now he's on his last legs, obviously.
I think this was him on his way out.
Yeah,
I think this pretty much did it because he's working in the back at this point,
yeah.
producer or booker, whatever he's
Mhm.
doing. Why he's still going into the ring, I have no idea. But it was the storyline they did it later on with him. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that was the exit for him.
yeah. I think so. I'm not sure, but
So
as I was watching this, and we'll get into that later, that's what I was thinking. I was like, was this his like? See ya.
exactly. But let's get into this match. Pretty much two heels in this match. It's like almost who do you root for? I guess most of the fans were going with Disco Inferno
Right.
since they're dancing like a dancing fool that he is. And Orndorff with a back suplex and like he needed to do it, put his foot on the rope and gets the pin on Disco Inferno. This was literally a 2 minute match
Hmm.
against Disco. So Mr. Wonderful gets the victory here. And so, the wonderful one is, I don't know what to say about this one. I think giving him Disco Inferno was kind of cheesy. But like I said, when we get into the other segment, maybe this was his exit. I don't know. Let's move over to Monday Night Raw's next match. They didn't do any interview segment after the opening match. They went straight to the second match. God only knows why. Chaparita Asari versus Aja Kong. Now this is at the point where they're still trying to build up the women's division. By this point, I think Medusa's gone because I think isn't it the following
I
week
believe so.
that this is that the
She had
bombshell of
already.
her showing up on
Yeah,
Nitro is
yeah.
going to happen
She had already walked
because
away,
they're
I guess.
setting up Aja Kong to be the number one contender for the women's title. And here's a funny thought: why wasn't the match signed for In Your House? If she's the number one, if they're building her up for the women's title. I was wondering that watching this and thinking back as to what Alundra Blaze did showing up on Nitro with the title. Why didn't they ever book the match? Because she wasn't under contract. Her contract had expired. And I believe she was working on a handshake. I could be wrong about that. We're not perfect. But this match was pure garbage. If anything,
Yeah, so
Alundra Blaze should have fought Aja Kong tonight. Would have made the match, would have made the night a little better.
she was
I
even there. I
mean,
don't even know.
I
When was
don't
the
think,
last?
probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Alundra Blaze fought the last time she was there was 2 weeks ago on Raw. So who knows? Like you said, even if she was there, this match was garbage. Her roundhouse punch, she busted Asari open in the nose with that. She really caught her with that fist, and she gets the victory. Not to mention the fact that she was teasing the pins every time she did
Yeah,
something.
it was a little too much.
Yeah, it was overkill. But Aja Khan gets the victory. As we move over to Monday Nitro now, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewing the four horsemen, well, three of the four horsemen, Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, and Brian Pillman in Flair Country, Charlotte, North Carolina. This was Pillman really showing his psychotic moments here, especially when he's talking about all the people that wanted to be horsemen. But he really focused on Paul Orndorff
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I never saw Orndorff as a horseman. I tried to picture it. I can't see it.
I think years prior, when he was in his prime, I could have
The
seen
mid
it.
'80s, maybe.
Yeah, but not now.
Not now. Not in the last few years that he was in WCW.
Right.
And so, for whatever reason, he keeps going on about him and on about him as far as the psychic network and all this stuff.
And then
So,
wonderful.
oh, Jesus, please, it's going to be in my head all night. And then out of the blue, here comes Mr. Wonderful, keep my name out of your mouth, blah, 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 this whole thing. So,
and then they threw him a beating.
Oh, yeah. Pillman and Orndorff went at it. Here comes Flair and Anderson. They pile drive spiked him on the cement, which is pretty much to me a storyline like, all right, you're out of here. Now go work in the back. Because they over the course of the next match, they showed him being on a stretcher, going into the ambulance.
Yeah, he was still there.
Heenan showed the concern.
I don't understand how they didn't take him right away. Like, why is he still there?
They prolonged the segment.
Right.
And of course, Heenan's showing his concern because he even said, I managed him at one point. And so
They didn't do a
he had a heartfelt look on his face.
they didn't do a Tell Me Alive
Scolded.
video for him. They didn't do a Tell Me Alive video for him though, like
Nah,
Shawn
maybe they
Michaels.
should have did that next week.
Yeah. So
But in any
they
event,
whipped his ass though, man. They really whipped his ass. I kind of felt bad for him. I'm like,
and nobody came to help him.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that was uncalled for. But maybe that, like you said, maybe that was their way of writing him off.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if he fights after this. I don't remember. I could,
no, I don't remember seeing him on it. I mean, I could be wrong. Again, it could be wrong.
but
If he does fight, it could be on a Saturday night, but I don't
something like
believe
that.
he was on his Nitro. That was probably it for him.
Wonder.
Oh, stop it!
That's like me with the other one with the natural.
Oh, they call me the natural.
Yeah, man. Jesus.
Actually, they're pushing for him to be in the Hall of Fame next year. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be able to do it because he's still in contract with AEW.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if they put him in, please don't put him in as Goldust. Put him in as Dustin Rhodes and
They
just
would
be done
have
with it.
they'd have to put him in as Gold Dust, man, because that's his most memorable gimmick. Yeah, I know.
Man, all right, what are you going to do? So as we go on to Monday Night Raw, Todd Pettengill did his interview with Shawn Michaels. Oh my
Jesus
God,
Christ. They're really go ahead.
And then Shawn Michaels, now they're talking. He's like, now I don't always do what the doctors tell me. If I could, I'd go back now. Blah blah blah. But when Pettengill mentioned retirement,
And Sean got all pissy.
yeah, he's like, is this what this is all
That's
about?
what this is
Cameras and blah blah blah. He goes, I'm done with this interview. I'm not talking about this anymore and whatnot. And
Next
okay,
week. Tell me a lie.
we're gonna keep doing this until he announces that he's gonna come back and be into the Royal Rumble. And again, back then we did not know that this was a segment that he concocted with Vince to build.
I know he wasn't hurt.
I thought he was hurt, but not to the extent that
He was hurt at all. I knew he was full of it. I knew Sean was full of it. Never believed.
No, we only knew it once he started. Once he lost his smile, then we knew he was full of it.
That confirmed it, but I always knew.
Yeah. That when he came out and said that he couldn't wrestle anymore and he lost his smile, I'm like, oh come on, you just don't want to face somebody that you know you're supposed to be. I thought that was 100%
supposed to drop
BS.
the belt to, yeah. But,
yeah, exactly.
We'll get to that in a couple of years, but
yeah. Exactly. 2025, I believe, on that one. Oh Lord, that's gonna be a long one. All right, so let's keep it with Monday Night Raw. Let's go to their third match of the night, which was Amed Johnson versus Rick Stockhausen, which Amed did make a mistake during the match. He got too
excited.
He was energized and almost killed the guy.
He was pretty amped up, yeah.
Yeah, he had to do the spine buster again. And then a Pearl River plunge, and he gets the victory real quick.
I loved Amed, though, man. I've said this before. I loved Amed. I was an Amed mark, man.
I was
a huge Amed fan.
I saw this guy as somebody that was going to
be a
future champion.
He was on his way.
Injuries and everything that transpired after that is what just it ended it, unfortunately. And then the Nation gimmick going too long really killed it. Yeah, exactly. Following that match, Jerry Lawler decided to interview Amed Johnson about his upcoming match with Dean Douglas at the Sundays in Your House, which we know he did not face Dean Douglas due to injury. He faced Buddy Landel. And then, of course, he's going to have a quick Jeff Jarrett thing coming soon.
Oh, God.
Exactly. Of course, he told Lawler, why don't you go back to your thing, talk your crap, get out of my face. Of course, Lawler's, looking over his shoulder. Ahmed staring him down as he left. Fans were all.
And Lawler keeps messing with him. I'm like, I'm waiting for Ahmed to just throw him a beating. I'm waiting.
I was waiting for everybody to throw Lawler a beating back then. Once Lawler got on board with Ross and the Attitude Era as being the commentators, that's when I started liking.
That's when I liked him. I didn't like.
At this point, I'm like, I want this guy to be thrown through a fucking table. Oh. But in any event, let's move back over to Monday Nitro, a match that to me didn't make any sense as a result, of what's transpiring and everything. It's Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Lex Luger.
What was this about?
Yeah, exactly. This didn't make any sense to me. The match was okay, not bad. I'll give it that. It made it a little interesting when Jimmy Hart, grabbed the 2x4, distracted the referee. Excuse me, and then he got on the apron. Duggan went over. Luger hit him with a forearm, and then puts him in the torture rack. Gets a submission, and Lex Luger gets the victory. this would not be the last time we saw Lex Luger on this occasion. So, and of course, following that, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed the Macho Man Randy Savage, telling him you've got quite a work schedule ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Next week on Nitro, he's going to be defending the WCW title against the Giant. Not to mention, he's got to worry about, if he gets past that, the triangle match between Luger, Sting, and Flair. Who would he be facing in the title match?
You know what the thing is, man? I understand Macho Man was kind of a placeholder, but like, you didn't get the impression.
Unfortunately, and I didn't like that.
You didn't get the impression. Like, Macho Man was the champion, but you didn't get the impression like he was the champion, if that makes any sense.
He didn't. Like you said, it felt like a placeholder.
Yeah, he kind of just has the belt, but he's not the focus of what's going on,
No, it's not. It's the whole Hogan, Luger, Sting thing, and Savage is just in the background holding the belt, the gold belt.
Right.
And, I mean, you call it placeholder, it goes from him to Flair. So, I really felt like Savage was in the background of this.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't
have been.
He should have been at the forefront of this whole thing.
You know what? I think at that point he was just happy to be working in the ring again, because that was the reason why he left WWF in the first place. They wouldn't let him wrestle. So exactly. He's getting a lot of money and he's wrestling, so he probably was. And
the company had the faith in it to be putting the title on him.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this whole thing with Ric Flair is just prolonged, because you remember he mentions a year ago, Flair, they hurt his father, so he still hasn't been dealt with him. He did. So we'll see what transpires there. Moving back over to Monday Night Raw. Following the Amed Johnson match, Vince interviewed Ted DiBiase, Psycho Sid, and the 1-2-3 Kid as they have an upcoming match at In Your House against Marty Jannetty and Razor Ramon. He's talking about how these two are going to be the future tag team champions.
1-2-3 Kid was so bad on the mic, though, man. Like he wasn't so as a heel at this point.
He was better when he came back as X-Pac.
Yeah, he gets better later.
I think he got his mic skills improved in night on.
You know what it was? Well, now you know what it was too, though, because he was so young here, and then he was clean shaven. That you didn't buy it, like him. I
didn't buy the heel look.
Sid was cool. Sid was always cool. I always loved Sid, though. I was laughing when he was like, "I'm sorry for what I'm gonna do."
And kids like, "What? Are you serious?" Because I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If I was Sid, I would have dropped that little punk bitch to a table, told DiBiase, "Get me a title shot at the Rumble." Why am I involved with this puny shit?
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense for Sid.
He mentioned
Sid and Kid.
I guess because it rhymes. 1-2-3 Kid actually mentioned that Marty Jannetty was his former tag team partner, and they were champions. I was surprised because I had mentioned it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and
he brought it up. That was actually pretty cool. Yeah, that was actually I like that.
Yeah, DiBiase should remember what Kid did to him at the Rumble when he took the tag titles away from the $1 Million Corporation. No, but that's all in the past. He's now got the Kid. Yeah. Not saying much. So, all right, let's finish up with Monday Nitro and the soap opera that's about to ensue. Main event of the evening, it's Hulk Hogan and Sting versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. Like I said, at this point, it's getting redundant with this whole "Can I trust you? Can you trust me?" At this point, who cares? Hogan's only priority is to get that title back. He doesn't care who he's got to step on.
Pretty much, you can't trust Hogan. I mean,
he's getting booed at this point, really bad.
No, when he comes out, he gets booed. Bad.
Yeah, and during the interview segment after the fact, they really booed him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now during this match, to try to prove that Sting can't trust Hogan, Jimmy Hart comes down to distract the referee. Out comes Lex Luger, beating down Hogan.
Well, before that, remember Sting came out first. They didn't come out together.
Yeah, and Hogan was all pissed off, like, "What are you doing, brother?" Yeah. "Oh, I'm sorry, Hogan. You usually do this to people. Yeah. What, you're mad because somebody did it to you?" Because every time he tags with somebody, he's got to be the last one to come out. Ask the WWF champion, Randy Savage. All the time when the Mega Powers came out, Savage had to be first. Hogan had to have the limelight. So Sting gave him the limelight. He got mad about it. What's going to make the baby happy? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Giving him his world title back.
So you're saying Luger came down. Yeah, Luger comes out.
Luger puts him in the torture racks. Now, he's incapacitated at the moment. And Sting is pretty much working a handicap match at this point. Hogan nowhere to be found when he gets the tag. When he finally gets the tag, the referee didn't even see it, because at this point he's in the figure 4 leg lock that Flair has applied. Mm-hmm. Finally, he gets out of it. Arn Anderson comes into the ring. When he finally gets the tag, Arn Anderson gives Hogan a spine buster. He no-sells it. Thanks, Hogan, because that it's pretty much you just made Arn Anderson's one key move look like nothing. I didn't like that, and we've seen him do this many times to people, mainly Vader when he had the feud with him. Big boot and leg drop, and of course Hulk Hogan, big hero, comes in and gets the save and gets the victory for him and Sting over Flair and Anderson. Now after the match, Brian Pillman came down attacking Sting while Flair and Anderson ganged up on Hogan. Luger came down, pushed Pillman off of Sting, and he's checking on Sting while now Pillman now goes and beating up Hogan. That's a match I actually would have wanted to see, Hogan and Pillman, but we never.
Hogan wanted to squash him. He wanted to squash him, and then I think Pillman just leaves. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, because by this point Pillman has escalated himself, and Hogan's just not buying it. Well, tough for you.
Right.
So as Luger's checking on Sting, Sting pushes Luger out of the way to go help Hogan. At this point now, Randy Savage comes out. Once the ring clears, he has words with Sting. Sting hits Savage.
Right.
Here we go. This is just like what happened last week with Sting and Hogan. Now it's Savage and Sting. They have to be broken apart. Now here comes me, Mr. 900 number, coming in the ring. Now we got to get this, whole Dr. Phil thing settled. By like I said, this whole thing is getting redundant at this point. It's good storytelling, but by this point, at 3-month mark, something needs to come to a head here.
Yeah.
And of course, cooler heads prevail. They shake hands, and off into the sunset they go, holding hands and whatnot. Now let's move over to Monday Night Raw, where the main event. Oh my God! If this feud wasn't over already, it should have been. Bret Hart in a non-title match against Bob Backlund.
Yeah, I already set this. They had set this up last week.
And then Backlund was chicken winging everybody because he found out that he wasn't getting the title shot. He wanted to be God again. And so they're trying to make him relevant again. At this point, it's not really happening. I don't know why, because it's not going any further than this.
I don't know.
And not to mention the ending was pretty cheesy, because I'll get to that in a second. But during the match, Lawler went out and interviewed Diana Smith. Man.
Diana Smith Hart. Diana Smith Hart. Yeah.
I got to support my husband. I felt like I was hearing, I did it for The Rock.
I like Diana. I always liked her.
I liked her better when she opened her mouth, towards King of the Ring, when she was making the accusations of Shawn.
Oh, Shawn? Oh, yeah, that was funny.
She had plenty to say at that point. But now it's just like, I forgot my lines. And I'm like, all right, Lawler, just just go away. Just get off the thing. Now, as the course of the match, Backlund's trying to apply the chicken wing, and unsuccessful at some points, but he's really working over the shoulder to hope that Bret Hart taps. If he beats him, okay, you're not getting a title shot either. Right. So we already know who's going to win this match, but it's a cheesy way they did it. Bret was about to apply the sharpshooter to Backlund when the Bulldog came down.
Damn it.
Bret and him just have a stare down, and Backlund goes and puts the crossface on Bret, and they ring the bell. Meanwhile, Bulldog has not laid his hands on Bret once yet. He does once Backlund puts the chicken wing on, but by that point, the referee's already rang the bell, and Backlund's been disqualified. Which, by the way, when Backlund found out, he was about to go after Bulldog, and I'm like, yeah, you do that, you're really getting your butt kicked. So, and then, of course, Backlund, kept the hold on as the officials came in. He broke it, puts it back on. To me, this sounds like, all right, we're doing this all over again. This is 1994 revisited, and we don't need to do that again because it wasn't even good back then. And so that's how it ends, with Bulldog getting pretty much the upper hand here. However, we know how the pay-per-view is going to go. So we've got Monday Night Raw's ending. We've got Monday Night Show's ending. What's your pick? I can say that the actual rating went Nitro's way, 2.6 to 2.5. Yeah. It was really close.
I thought both shows were kind of weak. I didn't think both shows were. Neither show was really that good. I'm gonna give Nitro the slight edge, just because I did. Even though it's getting a little redundant, I did like seeing that whole Sting and Hogan together versus the Horsemen. I did enjoy that, and the Eddie Guerrero tore the house down as he usually does. So I'm just gonna. It's the lesser two evils, and neither show was that good. I didn't want to see. The thing is, also too, to be fair, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. Everybody knows that, I think. And
Yeah.
I was just tired of seeing this Bob Backlund thing. I didn't want to see this anymore. So I kind of checked out at that point. I was like not interested. So
I'm in agreement, and I'm going to do the same thing because if Brett fought anybody else in the main event,
yeah,
I would have given it to Monday Night
yeah.
Raw. Mainly because, like I've said during this whole storyline between these four guys is getting redundant. It's got to come to a head at some
Hmm.
point. I did like the fact that Sting and Hogan did team up, and the match. It was a good segment, until the whole here comes Luger and then the Sting Savage thing, and it's they all have to be broken up, and I trust you, you trust me, all this nonsense. And again, Eddie Guerrero did tear the house down. I felt sorry for Paul Orndorff during this, but this was probably his exit. Monday Night Raw, you know, it, it it did, even though you had a couple of jobber matches. Ahmed Johnson did show off his power. The interview segment with DiBiase was good. The interview segment with Shawn Michaels was good. But to me, the main event is, like I said before, if he fought anybody else, I probably would have went with it. But this whole Bob Backlund garbage, no,
Doesn't work.
it's not working. I thought this was over WrestleMania 11.
Should have been. It should have been.
So I've got Nitro 10-4. You've got it at 11-3, and the actual ratings have it as Nitro 7-5-2
So one more for the good
for the
guys.
good guys. For now, we know that's going to change in a few years.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.